What if we stopped worrying so much about the wrinkles, the sagging, the gray hairs, and we just shifted, even just a small part of that energy toward our inner world? Because I don't think our soul ages. I think it deepens, it expands, and it becomes more radiant. And when we leave this world, that is what people will remember. Maya Angelou once said, people will forget what you said, they will forget what you did, but they will never forget how you made them feel. So, why don't we try to redefine representation? Let's make aging something we look forward to, something we move into with grace and let go of fear. Let's show the next generation what is possible. And more importantly, let's give ourselves permission to be exactly who we are, because who we are is already so powerful. Welcome back to Coming Into Focus. I am your host, Helen Tansey, and today I am doing another solo episode. And I have to tell you, every time I do one of these, it feels a little bit out of my comfort zone. I am so used to the exchange, the conversation, and the energy with another person. So just sitting here and just talking, it stretches me a little bit. But I also love it because it asks me to really connect to myself, to what I'm feeling, and to what might be of value to you. And that brings me to today's topic, which is representation and why it matters. It matters so deeply, and especially for women as we age. Representation is so important for our culture, for our identity, and for how we see ourselves in the world. Whether you are Black, Asian, Indigenous, whether you are gay, trans, a woman, an aging woman, and if you are living with a disability. While all of these experiences are very different, the common thread is we all need to see ourselves reflected to know what is possible for us. So, what led me to today's topic? It's quite simple. On Monday evening, I went for a walk with my friend Lori Donnelly, and she has been on my podcast. She was, I think maybe it was episode 3 or 4. And Lori is just one of those beautiful women who is this gray-haired goddess. She is authentic, and she has truly stepped into the power of who she is. She's made very intentional choices not to color her hair, not to do cosmetic procedures, and to really live from a place of truth. And when I say this, it's not just about how she looks, but it is who she is. So when I was walking with her, I was walking on my way to meet her, and this beautiful young woman walked by me. She was maybe 26 years old, walking down the street. She was so pretty and so beautiful, and what struck me, it wasn't so much about just her beauty, it was how natural she looked. She looked normal, and I mean that in the most beautiful way. When I looked at her, there were no fillers, there were no overdone lips, nothing exaggerated. She just looked herself, and she had this soft, content smile. She wasn't trying, she wasn't performing, she just was. And I realized that's why she stood out to me. Because I think right now we're living in a time where so many young women are altering their faces so early, and they just do not need it. And I say this gently, but honestly, it makes me a bit sad sometimes. Because these young women, no matter what they look like, they are already perfect. They are already beautiful. And yet there is this pressure, this trend, this idea of what's in style or what's considered attractive. And I see so many young women going after that look. And maybe it is the trend right now. But at a certain point, it stops looking like the person. And that's the part that I struggle with. Because when the lips, the fillers, or the Botox are the first thing we notice, it can start to overshadow everything else. For me, walking past this young woman, it actually took me somewhere. And it reminded me of when I was younger, before all of this pressure, before the level of pressure that we had as women, that constant messaging about what we should look like or how we should fix ourselves. And listen, when I was growing up, we had it too. Usually it was around weight. It was about being thin. There's always been that pressure, but it didn't feel like the same intensity as it does today. And I remember that I would look at women who were older than me, and I remember seeing possibility. I don't think I ever feared getting older. If anything, I looked at older women and thought, that's what's possible for me. And now, we are those women. We are the ones being watched, whether we realize it or not. And so the question becomes, what are we showing? For me, when I see women like Lauren Hutton, who I think I have loved since, I was a younger woman in my teens, or even Meryl Streep or Christy Turlington, and I know that these are celebrities, but I think what they have is that they are just allowing themselves to age, and there's something so powerful in seeing a face that has lived. You know, the wrinkles, the lines, the expression, the truth. And I also think about the women that I meet, the women that I photograph, who have chosen not to do cosmetic procedures. And I feel connected to them because right now I'm making that same choice. And that could change, maybe. One of the biggest lessons that I have learned in my life is never say never. But right now, I want to see more of this. I want to see more women who are not doing cosmetic procedures. And why? Because it inspires me. And I want to be really clear, because I also have women in my life who do a little bit of Botox and who take care of themselves in that way. And I got to tell you, they look freaking amazing. And I genuinely feel good for you. If it makes you feel good, why not? This is not about judgment. But what I think I struggle with is when we cross a line, when we no longer look like ourselves, when I see people I know and they no longer look like themselves, when all you see is the work and the essence of the person starts to disappear. And I find myself searching their face, trying to find the face that I've known and I've loved for years. And I guess this leads me to what I started out with, was why representation matters. Because we need to see all versions of aging. We need to expand what aging looks like, because for so long we've been shown such a narrow vision of it. And I don't think it reflects the truth of who women become. As we age, we become more interesting. We find our voice. We know how to use it. We become more authentic. Even in something like fashion, we stop chasing the trends and we start choosing what actually feels like us. And that is so powerful. So this is what I want to say to you, is keep showing up. Take photos. Share the wrinkles. Share the truth of who you are. Not perfectly, not filtered, just honestly. Because when a woman shows up like that, it gives another woman permission to do the same. So take photos of yourself. And I'm not just saying this because I'm a photographer. I'm saying it because we need to document our lives, our stages, our evolution of who we are becoming. Just because we don't look like we did when we were 20 or 30 or 40, it doesn't mean that you're not beautiful. And how sad it is to think that our beauty, and when I say beauty, I don't just mean what we look like, is only valued between a certain age of, let's say, 18 to 35. That is such a narrow window for something that is actually so expansive. Wouldn't it be incredible to see more women sharing photos of themselves, living their lives and enjoying lives? And the caption isn't a humble bragger. It isn't filtered. It isn't performative. It's just, I'm grateful to be here. This is my face and I love it. And I think one of the many reasons I enjoy Lori so much is because that is exactly what she does. She uses her platform to inspire, to celebrate, and to show aging in such a powerful and authentic way. I got to tell you, our walk, I think we walked for over an hour and a half, and we just had the most beautiful conversations. We talked about aging, our choices, finding our voice. And I remember at the end of our walk, I hugged her and I said, okay, if we had a microphone on us right now, this would have been an incredible podcast episode. And that's the point. Women need to talk. We need to hear each other. I recently saw something with the actress Amanda Peet on Instagram, where she shared that she has chosen not to do cosmetic procedures. And she admitted that there are moments where she questioned that choice. And what struck me was the response from the women in the comments. They were saying, please don't change anything. You're beautiful. You don't need to be fixed. That's representation. That's community. That's women holding the space for each other. And it really warmed my heart because I think part of Amanda Peet's appeal is that she's not only a great actress, she's funny, she's honest, and you can feel that in her work and you can see it in her face. And then it got me thinking, what if we stopped worrying so much about the wrinkles, the sagging, the gray hairs, and we just shifted even just a small part of that energy toward our inner world? Because I don't think our soul ages. I think it deepens, it expands, and it becomes more radiant. And when we leave this world, that is what people will remember. Maya Angelou once said, people will forget what you said, they will forget what you did, but they will never forget how you made them feel. So, why don't we try to redefine representation? Let's make aging something we look forward to, something we move into with grace and let go of fear. Let's show the next generation what is possible. And more importantly, let's give ourselves permission to be exactly who we are, because who we are is already so powerful. Before I end this, if you have a moment, and if you are in a place where you feel comfortable, I would love to invite you just to close your eyes and just take a deep breath. And just know that you are enough, that you are powerful, that you are beautiful, and that you are someone who does not need to be fixed. You are the light within you, and just let that light shine. One of my favorite teachers who I've studied and read his books is Dr. Wayne Dyer, and he speaks about the idea of I am that I am. So say that to yourself. I am that I am. I am Helen Maria Tansey, and I am strong, powerful, beautiful, kind, and a loving human being. And nobody can ever take that away from me. So I invite you to say that for yourself. I am a powerful, strong, beautiful human being. And know that that is enough. I thank you. I thank you for being here. And if this episode resonates with you, I'd love it if you could share it or send it to a woman in your life who might need to hear this today. And I thank you. I thank you for coming into focus with me. Until next time.